Good morning, everyone. This is Ana, Key Account Manager at INdermal, the cosmetic brand from Nanovex. We are an Spanish biotech company focused on encapsulation and drug delivery system technology. Today we will be covering the skin longevity topic, quite an interesting one. We will be starting understanding the mindset behind this trend. We will then move to the biological processes related to aging, and we will finish the presentation understanding how we can move from this trend to actual formulation and communication strategy. So, let's start with the mindset. This didn't come overnight, right? So in the 90s, we were already having that corrective and perfectionist era where customers were passive and brands were dictating the ideal, right? And customers were trying to fit in. Around 2010s, we start seeing a generation of customers that were fighting against that unrealistic ideal. In 2015, we start seeing the slow aging. So this is not about just creams anymore, but also about sleep, stress management, sun protection, nutrition. And then in 2020, the pandemic came, so prevention and health became more important than ever. We start seeing this skin longevity term concept where we don't want to fight against the age signs, but to maintain, we are looking for a long-term health concept. Here, actually, we see this classical anti-aging, where we were fighting against the visible signs of age, as wrinkles, pigmentation, so a short-term focus, a corrective mindset. And now we are talking about skin longevity. We are talking about preserving what works in the skin before it gets deteriorated. So we are looking at a long-term health. Let's go to the biology behind the trend. The first thing we need to take into account here is that aging is not based in just one factor, but multiple factors interconnected between them. And we will be speaking today about the most important ones. We have the oxidative stress. Okay, we have the reactive oxygen species, ROS, that are part of mitochondrial activity, and they are in the normal cellular mechanisms. But when external aggressors come, we get to an imbalance because the skin antioxidant defense system is not able to manage that. That imbalance will damage the mitochondrial DNA, will provoke a degradation of collagen and elastin, and will be triggering inflammation. Then we can also talk about inflammation, no, or chronic low-grade inflammation. Here, everything starts with the cellular damage caused by external aggressors that will be generating DAMPs. And these DAMPs will activate the transcription factors that will release on cytokines as IL-6. This will increase the degradation and the inflammation in our skin, and it will decrease the production of collagen and elastin and also the cell renewal. We can also talk about cellular senescence. Right? We need to modulate the SASP, or senescent-associated secretory phenotype, yeah? And we would like to promote the cell renewal, okay, in order to fight against these senescent cells to avoid inflammation and oxidative stress and other consequences. And finally, we have the protein glycation. Okay, with the glycation process, we have the formation of AGEs. That, first of all, they will have a structural impact. Okay, they will cause this cross-linking of collagen fibers, as we see in the slide. And this will have an effect of losing elasticity and firmness. But it's not just about the structural impact, but also the biological consequences that protein glycation will have, right? As, again, we will be talking about chronic inflammation. And now let's try to take this trend and move it into a strategy. INdermal proposal is to encapsulate cosmetic actives and apply our delivery system technology. So we will be encapsulating a cosmetic active or a mix of cosmetic actives into a liposome or an exosome. Okay? We can work with both carriers. In terms of structure, the difference between a liposome and an exosome for INdermal is that the exosome will be having biocompounds encapsulated, and the proteins of those biocompounds will be in the membrane, okay, due to affinity. Here we can see the 4 delivery systems that we work in a standard way. We deliver the active in the epidermis with the DDS. We can keep the active in the stratum corneum with the CDS. We can go into the follicle, FDS, and we can stick the liposome in the hair and even penetrate the hair fiber with our HDS system. In general, for our technology, we increase up to 20 times the penetration of the actives. We increase up to 40 times the results, also versus the free active, and the empty capsule provides an extra 70% hydration in 30 minutes, and it will be sustained over 24 hours. And here I'd like you to focus on the structure of our liposome. The core of the structure, we will be having pure phospholipids instead of lecithins. That will give us a more homogeneous structure. And membrane stabilizers that in the past we work with cholesterol, but we remove this cholesterol in order to make all our products vegan. And then the other 4 elements, we play with them in order to make the different delivery systems. Now that we see this structure, we can go to the biomimetic exosome 1, where we see that in terms of structure, as I was mentioning before, we will be having the plant biocompounds inside and the exosome proteins in the membrane. The advantage of working with biomimetic exosomes instead of the plant one, natural ones, is that we are working with plant compounds, and we are manufacturing the exosome in our lab. By doing so, we are increasing the concentration, getting uniformity between batches, and then, as we can customize it, we have 2 advantages. The first one is that we encapsulate the cosmetic active inside, finding synergies between the active and the biocompound, and we are applying our delivery system technology. Okay, so plant exosomes do not penetrate the skin because they don't need that function in order to enable cell communication. That is their role in nature. Okay? But with our biomimetic exosomes, we are able to penetrate the skin and to deliver the cosmetic actives into the cosmetic target. Right? So at the end, what we are doing is we are taking the industry trend from the exosome, so we are having that marketing claim, and we are combining it with science. Then, talking about skin longevity, there are a few ingredient categories that look relevant to cover this topic. We have antioxidants, anti-inflammatory, anti-senescent, ECM remodelers. Okay, so here we have a few examples of actives. Some of them are included in the INdermal's catalog. Okay? And same here with anti-glycans, microbiome modulators, and mitochondrial activators. Okay? As we have tons of actives in the industry available, and we cannot have all of them in our catalog, one of our key points is that we are able to do custom encapsulation for clients. So the encapsulation has just a really few limitations, so we can encapsulate almost any active or mix of actives. Okay, so we can encapsulate your own active. We can create a unique capsule for you, okay, with your own liposome or exosome, or we can do a combination of both. And then, what about the claims, right? How we take this trend and we move it and we translate it into product language. Here, I would say that the key that we need to take into account is that customers want realistic claims based on science, and current customers nowadays, they are well-educated customers, so they don't want miracles anymore as the ones we were talking in the 90s, right? They want honest, transparent, and real claims. And then, moving on the final point to the products. On anti-aging and skin longevity, we have available an exosome, the DDS bacuchiol, where we are encapsulating 1% of bacuchiol with an avocado extract. Okay? We are delivering it in the epidermis, and we are reducing by almost 150 the collagen breakdown, and by 180 the skin inflammation. Then we also check the hyaluronic acid recovery, and we get up to 92%, so we are almost reaching healthy levels. Then we have the vegan DDS Pure Retinal, where we are able to increase by more than 100 the collagen and the elastin recovery, all of this versus the free active. And with the retinol product, we are 18.5 times more effective than the free active, and almost 2 times more effective than another retinol encapsulated by other company. Right? Then I also wanted to mention the vegan B3DS Scalp. There is a lipolytic product where we are encapsulating a peptide that we have the exclusivity for its use in cosmetics. So at the end, different actives available, encapsulated, and applying our delivery system technologies, all with proven efficacy. Okay. And lastly, my last point will be on hair strength, because when we are talking about longevity, we cannot forget about hair care. Okay? We have another exosome. In this case, we are going into the follicle with our FDS Folic Seal. And here, we are getting a 36% hair regeneration, additional to the performance of the free active. And we are able to reduce by a 72% the oxidative damage in the follicle. Okay? And lastly, our vegan HDS Kera Defense. Here we are targeting the hair fiber. Okay? And we are increasing by 3.4 times the effect, the protection we give to the hair fiber against UV and pollution effects. Okay, so thank you so much for your time, and hope you have found the topic interesting.